Fuel in Escape from Tarkov is one of the most vital items in the entire game, and we don't realize how much we need it until it's not there anymore. Due to the recent fuel shortages generated by BSG, the price and value of fuel has spiked higher than ever. Whether you need fuel to keep your hideout going or you just want to make a quick buck, this guide is going to show you where you can find fuel in Escape from Tarkov. Let's get into it. So I'm going to start with the obvious and most simplest methods of obtaining fuel. First of all, Jaeger level 2 sells it flat out. He has quite the limited supply though, and if you don't pick it up right when he resets, you likely won't get any at all. There are also a few trades for fuel. The worth it factor, quote unquote, of each of the trades depends on how much fuel is going for at the time and how much the items you need for the barter cost, so I'm not going to speak on it for this video. You can trade 1 purified water and 4 pineapple juice to therapist level 2 for a blue fuel. You can also trade 2 propane and 1 fuel conditioner to Prapper level 2 for 1 silver fuel. Jaeger level 1 will also trade 12 classic matches and 5 hunter matches for 1 silver fuel. By the way, the only difference between the silver and the blue fuel is the quantity each holds. Blue fuel has 60 durability and can power a hideout for 14 hours, 28 with the solar panel upgrade in your hideout. The silver fuel has 100 durability and can power a hideout for 24 hours, 48 hours total with the solar panel upgrade. You can also craft blue fuel in the hideout with 10 Zippo lighters and 10 cricket lighters. Again, the value of this changes constantly. Alright, so now let's talk actual real world spawns. There are several maps where you can go to hope to find fuel, and I'll run through them now, starting with customs. I also need to mention that you can find fuel in buried barrel caches, on dead scavs, in ground caches, jackets, sports bags, which I call duffel bags, and in technical supply crates, so always check these. It's just a really good habit to get into. Alright, so like I said, we're going to start off on customs and show you guys where you can pick up some blue and silver fuel here. So we're going to start over here in this building called the smokestack. At least that's what it's called on this map. I'll show you guys right now where this building is located, you know, in relation to everything else. But anyway, once you come inside of here, there are a few places to check. So just check the ground around the area for fuel spawns, as well as this technical supply crate in the corner. Then you head upstairs here and we're going to want to check the jackets. Interestingly enough, jackets can spawn fuel, the blue fuel that is. I don't see it in here very often, but at least, you know, you can find it in here. And while you're up here too, check the computers or, you know, potential high value electronics like graphics cards. If you find yourself a graphics card, you can just go ahead and buy fuel because you'll have plenty of money. If you want, check the toolboxes in here as well, because, you know, they can just give you a lot of valuable items. You can't find fuel in them, but they're there, so you might as well check for them. Okay, so after we're done with the smokestack building, the very next building over, the repair shop, is our next destination and the next place that we can hope to find some fuel. So head on inside, and once you go up, be sure to check all the metal shelves inside of this building because you can always find valuables as well as fuel. In this clip here, you can see me go into this little side room, which has this figure we like to call Bob. Check the wrists of Bob because he can have rollers on him and the ground around him can spawn valuable loot as well. So just be sure to check this every time you come through. This building in general is really good for loot, really good for money. This next room over, like I said, there's more shelving, and just be sure to check the ground carefully for fuel. It's really easy to mistake a silver fuel for the green fuel that spawns and is just scenery, but you know, it can spawn in here in a lot of places, so just be sure to check out for that. Of course, the metal shelving down here in the back of the room can also spawn stuff, so be sure to check there as well. Before heading up to this other side of the repair shop, this is going to be the green screen side, where as soon as you walk in, you can expect to find a green screen on your left. This room has a lot of valuables as well. There's 2 computers next to the green screen, as well as like a vodka spawn on the ground. Tons of rare loot can spawn in here, guys, so be sure to check everywhere, all the jackets, all the duffels. And as soon as you come into this back room, again, check all the shelving because you can find fuel. Water filters will spawn in here as well, and just lots of valuable stuff, good tech that'll sell for good money. So check everything in this room in particular. Okay, so we're done with the repair shop. Now we're going to head on over to the container building. Again, you can see it marked here on the map. This building doesn't have much to it, but there is one place in particular I want you to look when you do come in here. Right behind this van, which is the same van that you have to mark for a task, you can find valuable stuff like fuel, air filters, and all of the goodies like that right there on the wooden shelving right behind the van. Also check inside the back of the van as well. You can sometimes find like a morphine, something good like that. So now we head into the building marked the storage building. This one also doesn't have a whole lot to it, but as soon as you come inside this back back door. Be sure to check all the shelving that's right there when you come in, because you can find fuel as well as other valuable things here, so just be sure to look out for that. I wouldn't put it past fuel to spawn in other places in here that I didn't realize, but when I was searching around in here, I did come across this weird little consumable spawn on the ground. I found a kvass and like a water bottle, so interesting. Maybe you can find a moonshine there, best case scenario, if it is considered a drink spawn. So yeah, if you're ever in the area and you need liquids, be sure to check here, because you know, apparently this can spawn liquid. So next place we're gonna look for the fuel is over at the fortress. Some call this Big Gray, some call this Castle, whatever name you have for it. It's marked Fortress on the map, so that's what we're going with here. This building in general also just has a lot of good loot, but once you come inside, be sure to check the ground and the shelving everywhere. Okay, so real quick guys, sorry, I was just editing this video and I wanted to go back over at this point and mention something really important that I want y'all to keep in mind always on any map. So in this frame here, you guys can see the barrel and the couple of green fuel cans that are just scenery sitting right next to it. Basically anywhere in the game, customs, reserve, no matter where you are, anytime you see barrels like that with, you know, fuel spawning right next to it, check around the area, because pretty much everywhere in the whole game where you see that kind of thing, you can expect to maybe find fuel around if you just look hard enough. So just keep an eye out no matter where you are. Anytime you see the scenery like that, those fake fuel cans and barrels, just look around for real fuel, because it can be there, it can be very hidden and just blend in. So anyway, yeah, sorry about that. For fuel spawns, there's lots of stuff to look at in here, so just be sure you're not passing up something valuable. Lots of crates in here to hit as well, food crates, weapons crates, and everything like that, as well as just loose food spawns as well as water spawns. It's just a really good building to hit in general. Be warned though, because Reshala, the scab boss of customs, can spawn here, and it's not, you know, a secret that this building is awesome, so you will obviously be contested most of the time, so just be prepared for that, but you can find fuel here as well. Okay, this very next building is actually marked the Scav Garage on the map. Not sure why it's called that, but when I did this offline run, I did find a blue fuel in here, so every time you pass through, make it a point to stop in and check for fuel. By the way, if you guys are enjoying this video, do me a huge favor and hit that like button for me. If you want more helpful Escape from Tarkov content, then hit that subscribe button while you're at it. Next, we're gonna head on over to Woods and check for fuel over here. There are only a couple of places I've actually seen the fuel, so that's where I'm going to show you. We're going to start over here on the east side of the map at the ZB016 bunker. You don't need a key to get inside this bunker. It's completely open. Once you're down here, just check the ground carefully for fuel spawns. I do recommend bringing a flashlight with you. Next, if you go to the middle of the map, the lumber mill, the sawmill, basically where Sturman can sit and wait to try and kill you. His warehouse, the one that's gray, he always sits right in front of it. Check inside of this warehouse for fuel spawns as well. Lastly, on Woods, we head on over to the west side of the map at ZB014. This is one of the other bunkers on the map, and it's the one where you need a key to fully get inside of. On my run, I found a silver fuel just sitting here right down at the bottom of the staircase. It's a pretty common spawn there, and inside past the door, I didn't find anything, but fuel can spawn in there as well, so look out for it. All right, now we're gonna head on over to Interchange and check for fuel over there. I'm sure many of you know about the one spot I'm gonna show you in particular, but let me go ahead and start with a couple that you might not know, starting with the outside hole in the fence extract. Fuel is said to spawn on top of these green barrels here just outside the extract, so be sure to check there every time you pass by. Next, we're gonna head right into the middle of the mall and check the National Store. The green and white shelving in here is said to spawn fuel as well. If you don't find the fuel, you'll definitely find something of value in there anyway, I'm sure. And lastly, on Interchange, you have the coveted Ollie store. This store is just massive for any fuel spawns, any tech spawns, like just valuable hideout crafting gear that you need. You can find it in Ollie. All of the shelves in here, they may look empty, they may look like they can't spawn anything, but they actually can. So literally check every shelf inside of Ollie, you won't regret it. And in this clip, you can see there's this propane tank that spawned on this shelf, and as soon as I like moved left and right, it would de-render and re-render. So just like be careful for that and really make sure to check through all of the shelving. You can find blue fuel, silver fuel, water filters, corrugated hose, and just tons of valuable stuff inside Ollie. I can't recommend it enough for fuel hunting. All right, next map I want to showcase here is Reserve, and now Reserve has like 30 plus fuel spawns. I'm not going to go over all of them, but I do want to go over a few where I've actually found fuel a couple of times. So I do want to start off by saying anytime you're near one of the tanks out by the bunkers, definitely check all around it for fuel spawns. You can also find tank batteries here pretty often, so there's definitely money to be made. Next, we're going to head on over towards the middle of the map, and we're going to enter the King building. What you want to do is you want to go up to the 3rd floor of King. You want to go right outside the staircase and then left, just like I do here in this clip. There's a small room full of shelving and it can definitely spawn fuel. I even found one here in this clip, as you can see. Fuel is also said to spawn down in the main garage of King. This is where you can find graphics cards, Tetris, a lot of military loot, high value stuff, so be sure to check here as well. It's definitely not a waste of time. Right outside of King, we're gonna head on over to the back of Black Pond and check the little side garage here for fuel on the shelving. Then head on over to the gas station that's literally right next to it and check the ground under the gas pumps for fuel spawns as well. A short distance away from the gas station, you can find the orange roof building that's right next to the RBST long garage. In this clip, you can see just right here on the ground, I was able to find a silver fuel, and this really showcases how easy it can be to miss and pass up these if you're not looking for them. So definitely check the ground in this area for silver fuel. Also, inside of the long garage, the RBST, bring a flashlight and check all around on the ground because fuel can spawn in here as well, just like I found in this clip. Okay, and the last place I want to showcase reserve fuel spawns is actually down by the D2 extract, completely underground. Here in this long corridor, it's a notorious spot for people to sit and camp, so be careful. But once you're in here, check the ground underneath the metal beams because valuable loot can spawn down there, water filters, fuel cans, etc. And then I even found a fuel can right here under the spotlight, so check for that too. Heading further in towards D2, there's this little bit right on the other side of the D2 door where you can find water filters and fuel spawns as well. Basically underground, check all around because what looks like trash on the ground is actually super valuable loot. There's so much more to reserve and so much more loot than what I'm pointing out, but like I said, these are just a few places to find fuel here. Okay, and now I actually want to take you guys over to Shoreline, which is one of my favorite maps in the game. There are a few places to find fuel here as well. We're going to start out with the bus depot, which is right downhill from the resort. If you go inside the bus depot building, you can find fuel all along these metal shelves as well as other valuables. And as soon as you come into the side room, don't forget to check right behind the door for jackets. People miss that one all the time. I know I did. Next, head on up to the resort if you're feeling dangerous. Right when you enter the west wing, you can expect to find fuel on the metal shelving. It can be quite common there. Sometimes you'll see it a lot, sometimes you'll see it not so often. Then heading down on the west wing first floor, there's the middle wooden room just under the back staircase. You can find fuel in here as well. And I almost forgot, I'm actually gonna have to go back and get footage of this, but the building right outside the east wing, the little shack out back, can actually spawn water filters and fuel quite often, so be sure to check in there as well. And last spot on Shoreline is all the way over to the west side of the swamp. You have the chairman's house. This is a pretty high value building. There's lots of good spawns in here besides fuel, but fuel can also spawn in here too. And that brings us to the very last map where I'm going to show you guys fuel spawns, and that would actually be labs. Now this isn't one I'm going to recommend you go to if you're new to the game or if you're not experienced, but it's important that we remember that there are 2 spawns for fuel on labs. You have the table right here behind the 3 streamer cages on the main floor, and then you have down here underground, you can find fuel all along these barrels and shelves and everything like that. I know I've seen it here a few times. Like I said, this isn't my first choice to go hunting for fuel, but if you're going to be here, you might as well look in these areas anyway. This middle room that has the button, you can find fuel in here on top of the barrels too. And if you go on over to the very next room here in the middle of this hallway, I've definitely seen fuel where this propane and hand drill are right now in this clip. Anyway guys, I think that just about wraps it up. I have no more spawns that I can share with you. These are all the places that I would personally go fuel hunting and that I do recommend that you go fuel hunting. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I hope you guys find a ton of fuel out there. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and remember, I do stream on Twitch all the time, so if you ever have any questions or just want to come hang out, you know where to find me. As always, have a wonderful day and I'll see you in the next one.